You're listening to Community Heroes podcast featuring people sharing about their stories with their disabilities. And now for your hosts, Brandon and Pate. Welcome back to Community Heroes podcast. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Canada Paralympian para snowboarder, Lisa DeJong. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started into the sport of para sports?
Sure. So it's kind of a funny story. I didn't actually realize that para snowboarding was a thing until about 4 years ago. And I just randomly saw Amy Purdy, actually, who is a US Paralympic snowboarder on social media. And I was like, oh, wow, this is actually a thing. I mean, I've loved snowboarding my whole life. And I didn't know there was opportunity in the para world until, 4 years ago.
What was it like growing up, and what is your disability?
So growing up, when I was born, I was missing growth plates in my left leg. The technical term is tibial hemophilia, and the doctors didn't know right away what was going on. Back then, in the early '90s, MRIs weren't as easy to get. So growing up in Saskatchewan, that we weren't really sure what was going on until I was able to go to Toronto, have an MRI done, and they noticed what I was missing in my leg at that time. So we had the option to either amputate or do bone lengthening. And we went with the amputation route. So at 3 years old, I had my left foot amputated, and now I'm a below the knee amputee.
Of course, how does your disability define you in your everyday life?
That's a really loaded question. I would say, in my everyday life, the way it mostly impacts me is having it to use as an opportunity to inspire people around me every day. When I get up, when I'm going to be going somewhere, and it's going to be visible, which often isn't in winter time, but in summer, when I make the decision to wear shorts, every morning it goes through my head, what am I going to do to kind of have a positive impact with this, and to hopefully have someone, I guess, to have someone maybe who's going through something, who can see me just kind of outliving my life, and maybe be able to inspire them.
How has it been like, obviously, being born and raised into a skiing family?
It was pretty awesome being in a skiing family. I was the youngest of 4 kids, so when my family went to the hill, it was just kind of what I had to go along and do, and it was never a question of whether I would be able to do it. It was just, oh, let's put her on skis and we'll see what happens. And when they first started me on skis when I was 4, the ski boot got stuck on my prosthetic leg. We were renting equipment, and at the little local hill I was at, it was the story that was told for years of how they had to cut this rental ski boot off my leg. And it was pretty funny because they didn't realize I had a prosthetic leg, and yeah, they were pretty surprised when we couldn't get this boot off, and they had to cut it off after.
Of course, what was the switch like from going from skiing to getting into the sport of snowboarding?
I found the switch from skiing to snowboarding to be pretty difficult the first year I switched over. It was something I knew I really wanted to do. I loved what snowboarding looked like, but I remember the first year when I was trying to get on to a snowboard, it was pretty frustrating because I had been skiing for quite a few years and I could just get up and go. And I didn't like that I had to take the time to kind of learn this new sport, and that it was slow and there was lots of falling. So it definitely took me a little bit to get started, but I was really stubborn and wanted to do it and persevered. And yeah, once I got the hang of it, I was just addicted to it.
What challenges did you face with your disability and competing in sports, and how did you overcome that?
The biggest challenges I would say I faced in sports with my disability would be just for some sports trying to figure out how I was going to do them differently. For example, I was in dance when I was younger, so in ballet class, obviously I couldn't point my toe. It's one of the only things I find I can't do with my prosthetic leg, so it's kind of funny that that's what my parents chose to put me in. I also did jazz dancing. The instructors were really good. They kind of just changed some of the choreographer dance moves to fit what I was able to do. So that was really neat how that worked out. And then yeah, I guess just being okay with realizing that some of the sports I do, I'm going to do them a little differently, or I'm not going to be as fast as some of the other people. And just yeah, being okay with that and embracing it and enjoying it and realizing that it doesn't have to look like everyone else to have fun and have the enjoyment from it or to get really good at it either.
How was your experience like getting into the Paros circuit to compete in Paros snowboarding?
Getting involved with the Paris snowboarding was absolutely amazing. When I finally was able to get to try out for the team, it was so exciting to meet other Paris snowboarders. I had never met other people that were snowboarding uh, with disabilities, so it was really exciting to have this group of awesome, strong riders and to see what they were doing because everyone I had always been involved with were able-bodied riders. So it was a really cool experience.
How have you not let your disability define you into who you are and competing as a Paralympian?
Um, well, it's pretty special competing as a Paralympian because you're surrounded by other people that are also overcoming and doing absolutely amazing things with their disability. So I think in that way it's a pretty easy place to not let your disability define you when everyone else is out there doing these absolutely amazing things. It's really almost the opposite for me. I think I just find it so inspiring to see what all these other people are doing, and it just pushes me further too to see what other people are doing, like beyond.
Actually holding my sunglasses. Your music.
Of course, what has it been like obviously making the Paralympic team for Canada?
Oh, I can't hear you now.
What has it been like obviously making the Paralympic team for Team Canada?
Making the Paralympic team for Team Canada was probably one of the coolest announcements. When my coach called me to tell me that I was going to be on the Paralympic team, I was just ecstatic. Being so new onto the team, I didn't really know if I would be making it to the upcoming Paralympics. So to get the confirmation that I was going to get to go with the team was a pretty exciting moment.
How is it like competing on the World Para Snowboarding circuit for the Cup?
Competing on the circuit for the World Cups and the World Championship was pretty exciting. To get to finally meet all these riders that I had kind of been following and watching on TV was like a kind of like a celebrity fan moment for me. It was pretty unbelievable to actually be there getting to race against them as well.
What was that feeling like when you did get announced to make the Paralympic team and you were on the biggest stage of them all?
Getting to go over to China for the Paralympics and competing on the biggest stage is definitely something I'll remember for the rest of my life. It was just the most amazing experience to be competing with the best of the best, and yeah, to be competing in the biggest event there is. It was such an amazing experience to get to go and do that and to have the privilege to go do that.
How has it been like obviously being surrounded with athletes just like yourself going through the same challenges you go through?
It's really inspiring, and it's such a close-knit community. I didn't expect to find such a supportive group that no matter what country you're from, everyone's just so excited to see everyone else succeeding, and everyone's just as excited as almost if it's as if it's themselves up on the podium. So to see the brother and sisterhood of that it's a pretty amazing club to be a part of.
What were some of your favorite memories and moments competing in Beijing?
Well, my favorite moment was definitely crossing that finish line, getting the silver in snowboard cross. It was pretty unexpected for me that I was going to do that well. So just the surprise factor of it, I think, made it extra special that it wasn't something that I really thought I had in the bag. So yeah, to go across that finish line, it was like kind of shock and disbelief that I had actually crossed the line in second place, and to know that all my friends and family back home were watching me live time as I competed in that race was just such a neat feeling.
What was that feeling like when you were on that podium and you got to put that silver medal around your neck?
When I got to go up on that podium and put the silver medal around my neck, I just felt so proud to be Canadian and to have won the first snowboard medal for Canada for the Paralympics. And to be making history like that was just absolutely amazing.
What were some of your favorite memories and moments competing in Beijing?
Some of my favorite memories would definitely be in the village, getting to meet all the different countries and meet people from other events as well, and just to actually get to sit down and talk with them and find out about their sport and all the amazing things they were doing and all of the things they were overcoming was a really special moment to have that time with all those people.
What was your experience like competing at the biggest stage of them all in the Paralympics?
Competing on the biggest stage was just absolutely unbelievable. Um, yeah, to get the chance to go there, and especially after not being on the team for very long, was a really special experience. And to be there with my teammates and to be able to celebrate with them, it was just absolutely amazing.
Of course, how have you took your time with the Paralympics into your everyday life as a mother and motherhood?
Um, I think just my daughters being able to see what I've gone out and do, and to see that you you don't have to define yourself in one role. I mean, motherhood is such an important thing to me, but so is keeping my self identity. So for my kids to see me work hard and pursue something outside of that a lot of people don't give themselves the permission to do, or don't maybe think it's possible, I think is a really awesome thing for them to see.
How have you used your platform as a Paralympian to help other people with disabilities have that way to be able to play sports and be able to play adaptive sports?
Yeah, I think using my platform is really important. So I go around to a lot of schools and I do a lot of presentations on disability and on my Paralympic experience as well. And I'm also very involved with helping out within the snowboard world on kind of mentoring any younger athletes out there, and also really just trying to have a social media presence as well, because that's how I found out about the sport. So that's really important for me, for there to be visibility out there, because there wasn't that when I was a kid, and that would have really been a game changer for me growing up, to see other adaptive athletes out there just killing it. And I think it's so important to see that.
What's it like, obviously, getting to meet your fans and having them recognize you and hear about your story?
Oh, it's really neat to be recognized and to see fans so excited. It's a really awesome feeling to feel like I'm making a difference, and to have, yeah, just to have people see what we're doing out there, and to see that we're doing these amazing things, and disability or not, it's so cool to see the boundaries broken down, and people see me out and about with a prosthetic leg. And I think it changes the narratives. Instead of people seeing disability as something that maybe they need to feel sorry for you for. It's like, wow, look what she's doing with that. Look how strong she is. And I think it changes it to a positive thing and something of look at the perseverance and the strength instead of maybe some of the negative connotations that it's had. And I think it's really awesome to see that change. And I especially see it in my girls because they've only grown up seeing all the amazing things that all different able bodies people can do. And they've never seen it from the side of feeling sorry for people. They just see it as, wow, look at the doors that are open because of their disability. Look what they're doing. And I think it's an awesome thing that's happening in the generations to come. And it's really cool.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments competing?
Some of my favorite memories and moments, definitely for me, it would be when I started podiuming in the World Cups. It was pretty cool to watch myself progress and get the experience and figure out the head game of the races, and to see myself kind of get better and better times was really, really cool.
Have you been able to balance being a Paralympian and also being a mother and also life outside of Paralympics?
I think that the balance is definitely tricky. It takes a village to raise a Paralympian, as I always say. And I think people who say they have it balanced, I don't know if I believe that because I sure don't. It's definitely chunks here and chunks there. And when I'm competing and when I'm away, I find my brain really has to be switched over to that. And I really have to trust my parents and my husband that they have things under control at home. And I kind of just have to be in the moment, in the zone when I'm away, because I find it quite intense. And then when I'm home, I kind of the opposite. I switch off the sport mindset and I'm just totally immersed in the balance of the rest of life and family and friends. And I try and really just be in the moment for it all and realize that for me there's not really a balance, and it's taking the time when I have it in each place and just staying present and not stressing that the balance is kind of tipped at certain points, because I know I'll be able to get it back.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to get into adaptive sports, whether it's being a para snowboarder or just getting into adaptive sports?
I would tell people wanting to get into adaptive sport to do some research and find the local groups in your areas, because it's not always visible where they are, but there's a lot of awesome resources out there. And just getting involved. From what I've seen, all the organizations are so supportive and so excited to get people involved, and it's just such a great opportunity to meet more like-minded people and also to get stronger and to excel in a sport that you find you really enjoy.
What advice would you give those future people that are looking to become Paralympians just like you have?
The advice I would give them is just to not give up, and that it's never too late to start. I mean, I was considered a pretty old athlete getting into the game, and it didn't stop me from accomplishing really amazing things. So I would just say find something you love to do. I mean, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of commitment, but if it's something that you love doing, then it's going to be so worth it and so rewarding.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
So you can find me on social media at Lisa DeJong _12, and that is Facebook and also Instagram.
Thank you again, Lisa DeJong, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as a Canadian Paralympian para snowboarder.
Thank you so much for having me.
You can find Community Heroes on Facebook at Community Heroes, Instagram at Community Heroes _NC, Twitter at com_heroes, and you can find us on YouTube at Officially Community Heroes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Lisa DeJong, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You are watching Community Heroes. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Community Heroes on social media and on YouTube.